This exactly what the doctor ordered. Chicken piccata, but make it meatballs over pasta? That's what's for dinner. Yep, delicious. It's less sticky, so now you can roll your balls. All the recipes at andrewzimmern.com. Pick up your spices at your local Kroger or andrewzimmern.com/Padilla. Last week, I saw a picture posted about my friend Jake Cohn's spinach and feta cheese Boureka from his latest cookbook. And I decided to make Jake Cohn's spinach and feta cheese Boureka, except this time, I made it a pasta. Take Jake Cohn's spinach feta Boureka, but make it pasta. Mission complete. Now someday, I hope to make it for Jake Cohn, because this is out of sight. Want to make a nice bowl of fettuccine? Do you want to make it in a beautiful shrimp bisque sauce? Yeah, let's do it. And guess what? This recipe is a twofer, because not only can you make a delicious pasta with it, but you also have this incredibly perfect shrimp bisque. It can be lobster bisque, it can be crab bisque, whatever kind of shelly crustacean that you want to throw in here, this recipe is going to get you there. So whether it's a soup or a pasta sauce, this is the one. You want to make that incredible dish of orecchiette with sausage, greens, parsley, garlic, and fresh clams? Stick around. I'm going to show you how. That, my friends, is a beautiful, beautiful bowl of orecchietti with sausage and greens and those incredible clams, lots of olive oil, lemon, parsley, fresh oregano. And that clam and pork broth. So, I mean, it's just garlicky and spicy and just delicious. That broth, don't mess around with it. Garlic, olive oil, pasta, aglio e olio. Is there anything that is as simple, as comforting as this dish? No, I don't think so. How does it taste? Out of this world. You want to make it? Stick around. I'm going to show you how. Traditionally, one of the stalwarts of the cucina povera movement, right? The peasant food, things that are born out of subsistence in places where people didn't have a lot of things. And the one thing that you could always count on having was a few chili flakes, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of garlic, some pasta, right? And this dish now, when it's made the right way, has proven to be as elegant and as beautiful a dish and as wonderful to eat, and is oftentimes my example, as are other examples of simple noodle dishes around the world, of dishes that have started out wearing one hat and have grown into a new one. One of the things that I've done with my version of this dish over the years is I have started to use this device to puree my sauce, and I've used a pan with some wine to actually simmer garlic and shallots, puree it, emulsify the olive oil with that reduction, with a little bit of starchy pasta water, because water and oil won't mix, but starchy water and oil will mix beautifully. And I make a gorgeous, luscious sauce that's not too redolent of burnt garlic. I hate it when all you taste is burnt garlic and you're burping burnt garlic all the time. And then I started playing around and I put a little bit of parsley in it to make it pretty and green, because chopped parsley and chili flakes were often what was served with this dish traditionally over the last 100+ years in Italy. So really, it's very simple. First thing that you want to do, pour about a cup of wine into a pot. And of course, I used Italian wine. Take a shallot, chop it up. We don't have to get too fancy here. This reduction is going to get pureed. The more alliums that we put into our wine, shallots, garlic, not onions or leeks or scallions or chives, although you could use chives instead of parsley with this dish, the better. And then here's the big one. Smash open, wow, there's some big garlic cloves. I usually use about 8, 10, 12, depending on how big they are and how much pasta that I'm making. These are big bulbs of garlic, and they have really big cloves of garlic. So, I mean, some of them are as big as my finger. So I'm just gonna use these 5 or 6. I want them to poach in that wine as the wine reduces, so we can just smash them. I may wind up slicing some of these bigger monster cloves, but this is really nice garlic. What do I mean by that? Fresh, easy to peel, no green germ in there. That's that flower in the middle of it to speak of. And we're just gonna put these solids of shallot and garlic into this wine reduction. And then when we puree it with our immersion wand, it's gonna make a silky garlic and oil sauce that's not too astringent. So we just bring this to a nice steady simmer and let that wine just reduce around the garlic and the shallots. You can see it's not too deep there. It'll take about 10, 15 minutes for that just to reduce away until the liquid is almost all the way gone. And while that's happening, I'm bringing a pot of water to a boil to cook our pasta, and we will get the rest of our ingredients assembled. So what's the deal with the wine and the reduction? Why wouldn't I just saute the garlic and shallots in olive oil? Well, when you heat the olive oil, you change the flavor. When you heat the garlic, you sometimes run the risk of burning it and getting some bitter flavors. But mostly it's because when I would go very slowly and carefully, use a very low heat, and I would puree my oil and my garlic or just toss noodles in it, I wanted a little bit of acid. And I would just put, a few drops, just the teeniest amount of lemon juice. Sometimes just a little lemon zest was all that I needed. But I wanted a little bit of acid to bring out the flavor of the garlic and to bring out the olive oil flavor in the olive oil. If you put a contrasting flavor with luscious fatty olive oil, like an acid, like a little bit of lemon, guess what's gonna happen? The olive oil is gonna taste olive oilier. What I found out was that I didn't need to use lemon. If I used the wine to poach the shallots and the garlic, as it reduced, that wine intensified, and I cooked it till it was almost bone dry, and I got just enough acidity into the dish itself when I pureed it using my immersion wand, which, by the way, you can use a blender if you have a blender. I happen to be a big fan of stick blenders because they make life so easy. I found that I had hit on the perfect thing. So I'm gonna take my measuring cup and I'm gonna put some black pepper in there because I actually want some of that in the sauce itself. I'm gonna take a little pinch of red chili flake because I want that in the sauce. I told you I wanted to use a little parsley in there. So I'm gonna take a small handful of parsley and put that into my container. A little bit of salt. Gotta have a little bit of salt. I happen to have an extra couple of sprigs that were just dying in the vegetable crisper. I have 3 of those sprigs of tarragon. I'm just gonna put that in there as well because number one, tarragon and garlic are delicious together, but I also don't like to waste. So I have a little bit more of an herb flavor, but again, not mandatory. Then the other thing that I want to do is I have some grated Reggiano Parm, and I'm putting, I don't know, like 2 tablespoons in there, just for that delicious umami flavor and helps to thicken our sauce a little bit. So a couple of tablespoons of that. And then I start pouring my olive oil. I like to keep my good olive oils by my stove at the ready in these beautiful ceramic pourers. And I want to put a nice, I don't know, half cup of really good olive oil in there. All right, half cup. To that, we will be adding our garlic, our shallots, and a little bit of that salty pasta water and emulsifying it and use that as the sauce for our angel hair pasta. I recommend a long, thin noodle spaghetti, thin spaghetti, linguine, angel hair, even a fettuccine, but you know, don't get into hollow shapes like ziti or other things, although it's not gonna be bad. I just think you wind up losing too much of the sauce in those holes, you know what I'm saying? And now you can see here, this is about 7-8 minutes. I probably have a tablespoon of liquid left in that pan. And I just want it almost to evaporate all the way. Meanwhile, this is about to boil. Cook my pasta, puree that, and we're done, baby. So you can see here, I can lift the solids out of this pan. And I have, well, I'm sure some liquid clung to them, but very little on this flat rubber spatula. I have, I don't know, a teaspoon of wine reduction in there. And I'm just gonna spatula that in there. And that is all the acidity I need to provide nice counterbalance to all of that olive oil that's in there. Then when I add some of the salty water that I cooked the pasta in, I'm gonna be able to emulsify that. We're gonna have a lovely, lovely sauce for our pasta. An elegant aglio e olio. All right, angel hair. Only takes 3 or 4 minutes. I like this noodle increasingly more and more with this dish because unlike other pasta sauces, we're not gonna cook this pasta for very long in the sauce itself. 4 minutes later, it's done. Strainer saves some of the water. So I've got this empty hot pot. Just put a, I don't know, tablespoon or so of olive oil in there. Dump that angel hair in while it's still loose and perfect. Just give that a little toss. Set that aside while you make your sauce. So I reserved about a half a cup, maybe a little more, of that starchy pasta water. It's almost yellow, and it tastes of the ocean. Tastes like seawater, but starchy seawater. Just tastes delicious. And I'm just gonna pour, I don't know, 4 or 5 ounces in there to start. And then I'm going to emulsify. Oh my God, the smell of garlic. Just amazing. How beautiful does that look, huh? So we have this beautiful pasta, still warm, nice and separated. I have the lowest possible heat on the bottom of this, and I am just going to pour sauce out of the bottom of this pitcher just to coat the noodles. It's a strong sauce. Remember, Olio e Olio, oil and garlic. And those shallots, those poached pieces of garlic. We always want to warm up our pasta in that sauce. So delicious. So plating this is fun. You can get a big meat fork, something that has straight tines, and just get a portion of the pasta on your fork. Place it in a big spoon or a ladle, like I'm doing here. Make sure the base is wider than the top. And there you go. That's how chefs get those kind of shapes out of it. Now, you can twirl it against the side of the pan and lay it out flat, but you know, here's a little bit of wild Sicilian oregano, a little bit of olive oil, the same one that we made the sauce with. And then, I mean, this is definitely not grandma's way, but if you want, just take some of that beautiful sauce and put that around the outside of that. And that, my friends, is my version of pasta aglio e olio. Doesn't get any more simple, doesn't get any more delicious.